What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another movie review. I'm Chase Lee, reviewing for DallasMovieScreenings.com and continuing my coverage of the 2019 North Texas Film Festival. I'm not seeing that many for you guys, but whatever I'm seeing, I will throw up on the channel. And this one is the third film that I saw, which is Back of the Net. Now, this one is directed by Louise Alston, and this one tells the story of Corey, and she is a spunky, go-getting teenager who is really smart. She's a bookworm, and she's really uncoordinated, as all nerds are. We just are flopping around all over the place. Hilarious. So she wants to go to this science academy to further her education, as one would, right? She goes all the way across the world because she lives in LA. She goes all the way to Australia, and she goes to the Science Academy, and the letters of the academy are HSA, which stand for H. I forgot what the H stands for. Science Academy. Now, when she gets off the plane, she gets on the wrong bus. HSA. So what was the mix-up? She goes to a soccer academy. So wild, right? So she gets there. And, she's like, I don't want to be here. And, the coach is like, you're going to love it. Just, it's a sister school. You'll be fine. So they pretty much force her there. They kidnap her. They take her hostage. It's a really devastating situation. So, she doesn't want to be there. And then, you know how the story goes. She gets some friends, and they play soccer, and they go against the rival team, and you already know where this is going. It's a family film. It is a kid's movie. It's going to be cliched like that. Here's the deal, folks. I didn't really know much going into this, like what this movie was or if it even existed. But I had some time to burn, and I wanted to watch something that was a non-Oscar contender and just kind of pick something at random. This was the one I picked at random. So let me get some of the technical stuff out of the way, and then I'll kind of dive into what is the main draw of this movie. Before I do that, though, I really appreciate the fact that this was filmed in Australia, and there were Australian actors and actresses, because you don't see that in America often, where they do that. They keep the accents, and then they play it in front of an American audience, because kids are going to be like, what is that? Which is great, though. I love that. Diversify kids movies. Hashtag that. So, yeah, I really appreciate that. Filming on site, getting local actors and actresses, awesome. So let's get some of the technical stuff out of the way. On a visual level, this thing is boring to look at. It is bland. It's just this bright white lit movie for most of the scenes, kind of like what my room is now, except I don't have any money, so this is what I have to do. It's just really flat to look at. It just reminds me of this hospital look. That gets boring after a while, and it gets really stale. And so even when they're filming some of the soccer scenes, they're kind of boring. I don't know. It's just it's fine. It's serviceable cinematography, but it's just I don't know. Could you punch it up a little bit? I'm not saying you have to make Roger Deakins-esque level of cinematography, but let's try a little bit. So yeah, it was not visually appealing at all. Some of the scene transitions were really awkward and awkwardly edited. You can tell when it goes from scene to scene if it's a fluid transition, whether it be creative and using something in the scene to transition it, or just doing a hard cut, doing a dissolve, whatever. It's supposed to flow appropriately. There's a couple times where I was like, no, thank you. And some of the sound design was a little off too. The ADR was a little weird. Some people, that they were talking, but that thing sounded like a sound booth recording, and it just it didn't work. It wasn't blended well. And then some of the sound effects were really weird. They were a lot louder than most things in the scene, and it's just that was also not blended well. So, all right, technical stuff kind of out of the side. Oh, one more thing before I get into, I guess, what is the best thing about this. I don't really complain about font type that much, or even credits to that extent, because it's kind of whatever, right? The bare minimum is that you do a standard font and you show up your credits for at least 3 seconds and you fade in, fade out, right? First of all, the font that they use for this entire movie is, I think, Times New Roman. Why? It is boring. Like when they're going through multiple days in the movie and it says like day 2 at the bottom, it's just like, guys, this is like a back to school type of movie. Like, couldn't you use like the chalkboard font or something? Like, it would have looked bad, but I would have given you credit for at least trying. So that was weird. And then the end credits, they were on screen a piece for 2 seconds. And then when it got to multiple names for one job, it was still 2 seconds for that entire block. When you're putting anything up on screen and you're fading in and you're fading out, the rule of thumb is you need to have it up there for at least 3 seconds for your brain to comprehend what you were seeing. Because once it pops up, it takes a second or two to hit your brain. And so when it's like literally showing up and then going away, it's hard to read it. And even though I didn't really care for this movie, I want people to get their credit where credit is due. Give them the spotlight. All the credits were up there for 2 seconds. It was weird. So, yeah, little nitpick. I know that doesn't really make or break the movie, but it's like very bothersome. So I guess like the best thing about this movie, well, there's a couple things. One, the acting is fine. It's good-looking teenagers, doing their thing. They all look like models. It looks like a Disney Channel original movie. It's like whatever. I really appreciated the coach of the soccer team that Corey is on, right? Because most of the humor falls flat on its face, and they try really hard. They steer towards a younger audience, which is fine. That's what they're going for. Funny enough, sidebar, the kids behind me in the screening, they were banging on the seats because they were bored. I'm just saying. If that happens, you're in trouble. But the humor, for the most part, does not work. The coach is fantastic. I want to see her in more stuff. I looked up her name, and it's Kate Box. Now, I'm sure if people watch this review, they're like, oh, you don't know who that is? Like, she's been in this. Listen, I don't follow Australian films that much. I'm sorry. But first time I've ever seen her, she is great. She has the comedic timing and kind of prowess of like something from like a Judd Apatow comedy. And I love it. I want to see her in more stuff. Someone needs to like hire her in an American movie and expose her to audiences because she is just that good with timing. Now, some of the jokes were a little whatever, but she sold it. So I guess like the best thing that this movie has going for it is the fact that it's a perfectly fine and even reasonable streaming movie. The framework, the scope of this story, the way it looks, it's a glorified TV movie. I don't even think that's an insult. That's just Disney Plus needs to just yank this up, buy it, and throw it on their services. It's fine. It's fine for kids to watch for an hour and a half at home and call it a day. This is not cinematic by any means, and you should never watch it in cinemas. But if you want to watch it at home, I would implore you to do that. So, at the end of the day, it was just kind of like a whatever movie. But, I've seen worse things. But if you were looking for a family film that's very cheesy, cliched out the butt, this is probably it for you. There's really nothing more to say. It's like a glorified Disney Channel original movie on Disney Plus. So, not a bad thing, but, that's just what I thought of it. So, I'm going to get back of the net a C-. I don't know what else you want me to say. It's something I'll never watch again. But that is it for this review for the 2019 North Texas Film Festival. And tune in next time for the next installments of what I review at the festival. I am Chase Lee, and I will see you guys later.